everybody, Jennifer from Scrapping Under the Influence. I am back today with another project. So for this project, I have taken the little chipboard matchbox slider boxes from Country Craft Creations and a couple of sheets of paper from the Echo Park Christmas Magic paper collection, and I have done a Advent wreath. So there are 24 of the little chipboard boxes in the set. They all slide out like so you can put candies or little tiny toys or something in here. I'm just going to do candy because that's easier. And what I've done is I have used these, and of course that one doesn't want to slide, to construct a wreath that we're going to be able to hang up somewhere. This is just a little fillable ornament from the Dollar Tree that I've got a couple of the stickers from the collection on a piece of acetate that I stuck down inside the ornament, so as it turns, you've got Santa on one side and I've got my little reindeer on the other. The poinsettias were something out of my Christmas embellishment box that I actually happen to have 24 of, so I used those. Honestly, I don't know how long I've had them or where I got them from. They were just in a bag in there, so I think I probably took them out of their packaging to use them and ended up not using them. Sorry, I've still got some glue strings from the glue gun here. So this actually goes together super quick. It takes maybe 2.5 sheets of the pattern paper. The base part of this is actually a 12-inch cake round from Michaels, and it is a gold glitter cake round, so I actually was able to just leave that and not cover that with anything. And then for the top, I've got some of the red polka dot ribbon from Country Craft Creations. So this whole thing will go together in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Like I said, super, super easy. I just went through and I cut all of my pieces to mat, stuck them on the boxes, and then proceeded to assemble the whole thing. So super easy, and let's get to it. Okay, so I have matted all of my boxes. I've got the sides, the top, and then the fronts of the drawers, okay? To do that, I had 48 pieces that were 1 1/8 by 3 for the sides, 24 pieces for the tops that were 2 by 3, and 24 for the fronts that were 2 by 1 1/8. Okay, so now I've got 5 strips that are 3 1/16 by 12. And that's what we're going to use to attach our, to line up our boxes. So these are all just the empty fronts. I don't have the actual boxes in there because at the moment we don't need them to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these. And I'm just going to put on about the last 1/4 inch or so. I am going to line this up and glue those together so I have a long strip. Okay, and then we're going to do one more. Not sure if we're going to need all 5 of these because I may be making a slight change to my original plan, because I did actually kind of test these, which is why these are all matted, is because I had kind of just taped them to make sure it was going to work the way I wanted it to. And I was using, you know, my ATG gun, which honestly, normally I can like pull stuff right back apart with that. It's not a problem. Didn't want to work that way today. Today it decided to really stick. So my the tops of my boxes were a mess. Okay, so we're going to start at one end. And I'm going to alternate the top color of the box back and forth. Okay, I have 14 of the sleeve part of the box. I am going to start about 1/4 inch in, and it's going to go all the way to one end. So I'm going to have about a 1/16 of an inch that's going to show right there. Okay. So let me get the glue on this first one. I'll get this one lined up and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm going about 1/4 of an inch or so from the end. That way where it's going to overlap and seal down once we get them all down isn't going to be where that seams in between 2 boxes. Okay, so I'm actually going to turn this around so that the end, or the side that I'm putting all the way flush, is going to be towards me. And then we are just going to come along and we are going to glue these touching just right next to each other, right on that end. Now, I did not do a mat inside of the drawers. I don't know that it's necessary, but that's up to you if you want to cut a little piece to go inside there. The last one I did an advent calendar with these little boxes a couple of years ago, and I don't think I matted the insides of the boxes because ultimately it's not going to matter. It's not like, you know, other than when somebody opens it and takes out, you know, the candy or whatever, nobody's really going to see inside of them, so it doesn't really matter. Okay. I am just standing that up on the end to make sure these are up against each other and that they're all flush across in the same direction down here, on the same end down here. Now I'm sure at this point you're going, okay, so why did you mat the sides if they're all going right against each other? It's because this is going to bend and you're going to see those sides. That's why they need to be matted. You could leave them. The white on the chipboard is actually, looks fine. But I do want to have those look a little bit prettier on that side. On their sides, that is. Okay. I can hear my son upstairs watching TV with my husband. And if I don't hurry up and get this done and go to bed, I'm going to have to wake him up and kick him out of my bed. Because that's how this goes if I'm down here late at night. Not that it's that late. It's, well, I guess it's 9:45. It's kind of late. And quite honestly, it's been a long week. I'm really surprised I'm awake still. Okay. And make sure when you're putting these down that they are standing up straight, that they're not like kinked to one side or the other when you push it up against the one next to it, so that those bottom corners, or bottom, yeah, corners, I guess, are next to each other. And then once we get this much of this done, we're going to have to let it sit for a couple minutes and dry before we can really wrap it around and attach. I just don't want any of these to pop off in the meantime, especially down on this edge. And honestly, if we weren't wrapping these up and around, like I plan on doing, you really could attach another piece and just keep going down and hang this up kind of more like you're hanging, like it would be cute to do like a chipboard end to hang it that looks like a belt buckle. I think that would be really, really cute, actually. My autofocus focus turn back on. It seems to act like it is. If it is, I apologize. Okay, so I'm going to let these sit for just a minute, and then we will come back. We're going to trim a little bit off this tail. We're going to leave probably about 1.5 inches. And we're going to wrap it around and attach it at this other end. Okay, so this is dried. What we're going to do is we're going to bend this up and around. And I was going to have you trim this, but I actually don't think I'm going to. I am going to put this somewhat, I'm not going to put it flat, but you want to line the two end boxes up against each other, just like you were doing with the rest. Flush with the bottom, just like you were doing with the rest. And then we're going to attach that together. And we're going to use some clips to hold it. So I am going right here, flush up against that last box. I am flush with the bottom of across the bottom there. And I am just putting clips all along here. I'm going to turn it up this way. I'm going to grab a couple more on this other side. Okay. And again, we're going to let this sit for a minute or two and dry. Set it like that. And I'll be right back. Okay, so we have our wreath, essentially. What I've got here is just a cake board from Michaels. They come in packs of 3. This is a 12-inch. And it's glitter, like gold glitter, which initially I was going to cover this with burgundy cardstock. And then I set it on here and I was like, oh, it's actually really pretty. So we're going to go ahead and just go with it. The reason we're doing that, and unfortunately they don't lay super flat, so I'm going to have to kind of wrestle with this a little bit. So I don't want to like totally bend it, but I've been trying to kind of flatten it a little bit better. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the glue gun and we are going to line this up. It's going to hang a tiny bit over the edges, you can see that, but since you're going to have the little drawers for the boxes in there, ultimately it's not going to matter. I'm just trying to get this as round and as even on here as I can. So, what? No, go play. So we're going to try to get this as round as we can and as even as we can. And it's kind of hard because there's not a way to like temporarily, at least that I can think of at the moment. I'm sure one of you will probably watch this and comment, oh, you should have done this. As I can. And since we're going to have another layer in here, it's not going to matter if you can kind of see this glue because it'll get covered up. I'm going to have to get my other glue stick in there. I'm going to hold this for 1 second while that sets. Just kind of put that about where I think it ultimately needs to go. I'm going to get my other glue stick in here. Okay. I'm just going to continue. And I am being fairly generous with the glue. Of course, my glue stick didn't go all the way through. There we go. Now we're set. Or not. Just wants to fight with me today, I can tell. Literally my entire morning has been like this. Okay. So I'm going to turn this and kind of see how I'm doing. Well, that's still warm, so I can kind of push where I need to. Push it in where I need to, that is. Okay. So far, so good. Okay. And again, it's not going to be like perfect, but it's going to be good enough for what we're trying to accomplish. And of course, because it is cardboard, there's going to be like a raw edge, and we'll just go around that with probably some of the chunky baker's twine that I have, the Doodle Bug, which there are a couple of colors of it in the Country Craft Creations shop. I know there is black, which is one of my favorites, and gray. And I don't remember what the other color is. I want to say it's like a light blue, maybe. Okay. So, let me get all my little glue stringies here. And I think we're good. So yeah, looks kind of messy on the inside there. It's going to be fine because we're going to get our other row set and ready to go and get that down in here. So let me grab that stuff and get that ready, and I'll be right back. Okay, so at this point you should have 10 boxes left. Somehow mine are out of order here. Okay, so you're going to have still 2 pieces of your 3 1/16 by 12. And again, we're just going to go on about the last 1/4 inch here, and we're going to attach the 2 together. Okay. And I am standing them up to make sure that they are lined up so that it's straight. Flat and ready to go. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to go all the way. I'm just going to start on this end because that was easier. We're going to start about 1/4 inch in, and we're just going to do the exact same thing we did before. We're going to glue all of these side by side all across this strip. Okay, so I'll turn this one over so you can see. We're going to start about 1/4 inch in. We're going to put this all the way to the bottom, and then we're going to go to our next one. We're going to do this all the way across. Try not to get too carried away with your glue there, like I just did. Like always. You know, this is what happens with me. Okay. Alright, so of course once we get all of these on here, we're going to let this sit for a minute and dry. And then we're going to wrap it around just like we did with the other piece. And I'm sure at this point you're probably thinking, okay, well, how is that going to fit in the center? And why did we mat the entire top of this? Well, a couple of things. First off, when I was doing this, it didn't occur to me that I'm bending it out so that really you didn't need to mat the entire top of these. You only needed about this much because it is going to stick out from the base of this the outer ring of the wreath. So you do need that top part of it matted, but honestly, I didn't think about that until last night after I had already matted all of these. So if you wanted to only mat your first 14 that you know for sure you're going to see the whole top of, you can absolutely do that, and then come back after you've placed this in the center, see how much of it is sticking up, because you can kind of adjust that how you want it, and then mat it. You can absolutely do that. But considering the matting for this whole thing took maybe 2.5 sheets of paper, it's not like it's, you know, a gigantic waste of paper to just go ahead and mat the whole thing fully, and then the whole thing is going to look nice. So, all right, I'm going to let this sit for a minute, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I gave it a few minutes to dry. We're going to do the exact same thing we did before. We're going to bend this around. We're going to get those two end ones snug up against each other, okay, and glue that whole tail down. So I'm going to get my glue on here. Bring this around. And then I am going to clip this to make sure it's going to stay on both ends. I'm going to let this just kind of hang out like this for a few minutes. Okay, so this is going to slide right down in the center of this. Okay, you can do it all the way flat, or my plan is to pop it up so it sticks out about halfway. Okay, so I've got it kind of about where I want it to sit. And so I'm just going to come in very carefully with my glue gun and just tack it in here. And I am going to be doing these kind of one at a time, just so that I can make sure as I glue the box base, what's the word I'm looking for? The sleeve, that's the word I'm looking for. That it's being glued straight so that it's not at any kind of an angle. And I'm going to do this with the glue gun because it will adhere faster. I'm not going to have to sit here and hold these for, you know, waiting for like my art glitter glue to dry. Okay, so I've got those two sides tacked. I'm going to go on the opposite side now and tack the two opposite ones down. Again, I'm going to have to clean up glue strings here in a bit. Okay, because once I get two sides stuck, then it will be easier to do the rest of them. Try not to burn yourself with the glue. I say this as somebody who's a professional at burning herself with the glue gun. This is why I don't have like the giant Ryobi cordless glue gun, because it gets way hotter than the little one does, and I am bad enough with like the little corded ones with burning the snot out of myself. I'm not going to do it on purpose with that giant one that will cause, like, you know, hospital-worthy burns. Okay, so I'm going to pull that out just a touch. And again, get the glue strings, and we're just going to work our way around. Now, I'm sure you're wondering about drawer pulls. I'm still working on that part. I haven't figured that part out quite yet. One thing you're going to notice, because of course you could leave it sitting down like this, I plan on kind of hanging this. I'm going to have a couple of drawers that will be basically sideways. Those will be the ones I'll put something like, you know, some sort of like toy or something in, or like little candy bars. Honestly, the whole thing's probably going to get candy at this point. I don't think I'm going to use it for, I don't think I'm going to try to find like little toys to put in. I did that a couple of years ago with my other one, my other advent calendar like this that I made. Well, not like this. The other one I made with these boxes. That I about ran myself ragged trying to find little things that would fit in the boxes. And quite honestly, my son got more excited over the candy in there than he did over any little toys or things that I found to put in there. So we're just going to stick with candy this year. That, and he's got a Lego advent calendar that I picked up at, a Lego Star Wars advent calendar, no less, that I picked up at Costco. Oh my gosh, back in like August when they first put them out. Okay. And I'm sure this is so exciting watching me glue these, but this way you can at least kind of get an idea of what it's going to, how it's going to function when you do this. And if when you are gluing these down and forming your wreaths and whatnot, if you want the boxes in the sleeves, by all means do that, because it does make it a little bit sturdier when you're trying to get it into its shape. I just personally found it a little bit easier. Get a glue string out of there that I can see. There it is. Okay, got it. Aha! I found it to be a little bit easier to leave them out, simply because then I could reach down inside and push. I've got glue strings everywhere. Holy crap. It made it easier for me to go in and push those down. Okay, so these are good and set. The center section is. Sticks out about maybe an inch, inch and a half. What I can do now is I can come around with all of these and just do a little tiny dab of hot glue down here to hold those good and rigid. I actually think I'm going to leave them because I don't think I need to do that, but that is an option. You can do that. And then I'm just going to figure out which side is going to be my top, and I'm going to find some twine to put around this outside edge. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I have gray Doodlebug chunky twine. So this is what I'm going to glue on this raw edge of this cardboard all the way around. Okay, I'm going to start it. I'm not going to make you watch me glue the whole thing because that's just incredibly boring. And I need to lay it down where I can see it for the whole thing. So I'm going to start with, you can do this with the glue gun. I'm just going to do it with art glitter because I know it works because I have done it on albums. And I'm just going to go all the way around my edge. Whoops. Just like that. Okay? Okay, so at this point I have gone ahead and put my drawers in. I'm not sure that all of them are right side up. In fact, I see one that I don't think is. But it's okay. We can flip them around when you go to fill them. I did find some in my Christmas embellishment bin. I did find some stickers, actually, with numbers on them that I can put on here if I decide to. I was going to try to fill in between with like some greenery or something. I don't think I'm actually going to do that. But what I am doing is in the center here, I have, this is just a little like ornament base piece from Dollar Tree. So on the top part of it, I glued some ribbon around the top of that. And I've got just some little Dollar Tree snow in here. And then I've got just an acetate scrap that goes almost all the way around the ornament, but not quite, because we're going to actually fold this around, and I'm going to use glossy accents to glue this, and then I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get it down in there, because it needs to go in there. Actually, I don't think I'm going to use glossy accents. I think I am going to just use the glue gun since it's still on. And since I buy clear glue sticks for the specific purpose that when you do this right, and just know you're going to burn yourself in the process, and just accept that fact, it does go completely clear on there. To further hide that, I will probably glue another little sticker on here. I just don't know what. Maybe the little snowman guy over here. Oh, I could put an elf. Oh, I have a reindeer. Never mind, I have a reindeer. Excuse me. We're going to go ahead and use him. I am going to, except I don't know what I've done with it now. Anti-static tool, so I guess I'm going to use my other one. My new one. Okay. That's good. Put that one away. And I'm just going to get a little bit of glue on the back of him. And I'm going to put him right over that seam on the back. Okay. I'm not going to make you guys watch me struggle getting this in here. I had it in on like just a long strip with kind of the edges folded in, and it didn't work quite like I wanted to, so I did actually pull it out once already. But I'm going to get this finagled down in here, and we'll be back. Okay, so got this finished off. I've got all my drawers in. I've put my little acetate piece with my stickers in my little ornament that's going to hang there in the center. You'll have seen, of course, the pictures at the beginning of the video and online. And then on the top, I've added a loop, of course, to hang it, and just kind of a cluster of ribbon bows that I did, a couple of bows, and kind of put them together because I am bow challenged, as you all know. But this is the red polka dot ribbon from Country Craft Creations. So at this point, our advent calendar is complete. Turn that around, and of course, I've got the bow where it keeps like swinging to the back side. But that's just how this goes. So, all right, there you go. Thanks for watching. As always, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to be notified when I post new projects. I'll see you again later. Thanks.